is here, and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day, and not too long after that there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend and Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
It's a rare condition this day and age to read any good news on the newspaper page. And love and tradition of the grand design, some people say it's even harder to find. Well, then there must be some magic clue inside these gentle walls. 'Cause all I see is a tower of dreams, real love bursting out of every scene.
Thank goodness. I forget what television show that was, and it's probably a good thing. Don't want to remember that TV show. Yeah, you right. 2 big hours coming your way on the radio. Oh, so fine. 93.9 FM. Thanks for finding us. Every weekday afternoon, cranking it up at 4 o'clock. 2 big hours on the radio. Oh, so fine. 93.9 FM. We also can be heard at 4 o'clock on New Orleans' own 107.9 FM. 107.9 FM. 600 AM will take you from Baton Rouge to Pensacola, Florida, all up and down the I-10, I-12 corridor. That sneaky little powerful AM signal. Yeah, you right, 600 AM. You can check us out via live streaming from our website, CareTalks.com. Kaare spelled Kaare, CareTalks.com. You can go to YouTube right now. Go to that little search bar, put in Corey Johnson Neutral Ground. Kaboom goes the dynamite. You can find us there. On YouTube, Corey Johnson Neutral Ground, 2 big hours, 4 to 6 o'clock every weekday afternoon. Yeah, you right. Hey, we're on TV all over Louisiana right now. If you subscribe to Cox Television, we're on Cox Channel 4. That's Your View, Louisiana. Cox Channel 4 in New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and a bunch of other areas in Louisiana. Wherever Cox Television is in Louisiana, we're there. Cox Channel 4 at 4 p.m. You Charter Television Communication subscribers, a.k.a. Spectrum. Spectrum Channel 333 from 4 to 5:30. That's in Slidell, Covington, Mandeville, Cheyenne Country, Yummy, Hammond, Houma, Thibodaux, Opelousas. Wherever Spectrum TV is in Louisiana, we're there, 4 to 5:30, Spectrum Channel 333. Yeah, the talk radio program, now for about, 12, 15 years or so, simulcast on television. 2 hours on radio and live streaming, YouTube, 4 to 6. 90 minutes, 4 to 5:30 on television all over Louisiana. A Monday afternoon, a warm weather afternoon. God, this warm weather continues. Summer almost like conditions. 81 degrees out there, and the humidity's around 64%, which isn't too low, which isn't too high, but you can feel it. Feels like mid-80s right now. Mid-80s in early March in New Orleans and the Gulf Coast region. Mid-80s. If you go outside and do just the slightest bit of physical activity, you will be perspiring. High 60s to low 80s for like the next week. Maybe by this time next week, it's going to be high 60s to low 80s through the weekend. Maybe by this time next week, maybe next Monday or Tuesday, we'll actually get back into mosquito-killing weather. Might get into the 40s in a week. That would be nice. We need a few more little wintry mix type days before we get into the ridiculously oppressive, hot and humid summer. And this sort of mild winter we're having, to say the least, this sort of ridiculous winter when it comes to summertime temperatures in November, December, January, February, and now March, it kind of scares you a little bit like, boy, summer could just be brutally hot. I hope not. I liked it 2 summers ago. I don't know if you remember. We had an incredibly mild May and June, even into July a little bit. Ridiculously mild. Had less than 10 days where we got over 90. And that was by like July 4th, like 10 days in May, June, and part of July, about 10 days where we got over 90. Normally by July 4th, we've got like 40 or 50 days where we're over 90, a good 40. So that was nice, mild summer. That was a couple of summers ago. I'd like to get back to that. That wouldn't be too bad. Climate change, global warming. I love when folks just say that's just how the Earth is. It's always been changing. I like when it's really cold one day and someone says, global warming, huh? Like one day it's cold. Just absolutely mind-blowing. It's like, do you have any idea what you're talking about? One thing I know in Louisiana, one thing I think that's safe to say, in just a couple of instances, the hardcore liberals and the hardcore conservatives think contrary to how those groups think nationwide. Liberals in Louisiana are pro-drilling, pro-oil and gas drilling. Liberals in Louisiana are pro-drilling. A lot of liberals around the country are not anti-drilling. Some are anti-drilling. Hey, let's get on wind power and solar right now. It's like, and how are you going to have the country going? Just unrealistic. No technology's ever been held back. If we could go to all that and things wouldn't change dramatically, we'd be on it already. There's no plot. There's no 200-mile-per-gallon carburetors. I remember that when I was a kid. Tires and batteries that last forever. It's just like, no, there's not. There's never been technology ever held back. But in Louisiana, liberals tend to be pro-drilling, pro-oil and gas. And conservatives in Louisiana know that man can influence the planet. We see chunks of our coastline floating out into the Gulf, coastal erosion. We've seen what oil and gas canals have done to our wetlands, what levees have done to our wetlands. So conservatives in Louisiana know man can influence the planet. We live at ground zero of that influence. And liberals are pro-oil and gas drilling. Where you go around the country, a lot of liberals are against that, and a lot of conservatives don't think man can influence the planet. Anyway, warm weather day, another one here in South Louisiana. It's a warm weather day for Karen Carter Peterson. She's in Bryan, Texas, reporting to jail for almost the next 2 years. 22 months in jail. A couple of things stand out when I think about Karen Carter Peterson reporting to jail 22 months. What about her pals, her buddies that were helping funnel the money, that were taking $1 from her campaign fund or the Louisiana Democratic Party and then giving her back 85 cents, 90 cents and keeping a dime for themselves? They weren't washing the money for free. Former city councilman Jay Banks, his brother Graylin Banks, they own some just faux, political consulting firm. That's such a loose term, consulting in quotes. No, they took a lot of money from Karen Carter Peterson. So did a couple of other, quote, consulting firms, political consulting firms, and funneled a lot of it back to her for personal expenses. And they kept a little chunk. Where's the FBI investigation on former city councilman Jay Banks and his brother Graylin Banks washing the money and others? And then I think about Irvin Mayfield Jr. stealing $1.3 million from New Orleans kids and spending 11 months in jail. I mean, folks talk about these 701 releases and violent criminals in New Orleans going back out on the street. It's all true. That would be blue-collar crime. White-collar crime. Irvin Mayfield Jr. stealing $1.3 million from New Orleans Library Foundation and essentially gets away with it. His repayment's $500 a month. That would take him 200 plus years to pay it back. Yeah, blue collar and white collar crime. Apparently in New Orleans, it pays. It pays. Karen Carter Peterson stole, and I'm not saying she doesn't deserve the time. She stole from political hacks, essentially. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more. 4 o'clock hour brought to you by Rouse's Market. It's crawfish season. Get them by the sack live. Get them boiled, hot from the pot all day long at every Rouse's. And this is Rouse's crawfish. Those guys know what they're doing boiling crawfish. It's crawfish season. Your neighborhood Rouse's Market's got you covered. Yeah, you're right. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Come to Fausto's Italian Bistro. Age-old Italian recipes like the Italian sausage with peppers or the soft-shell crab ravioli. Lunch Monday to Friday, dinner Monday to Saturday. 530 Vets, a block before Dorignax. Fausto's Italian Bistro.
Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, insagency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, insagency.com.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, now with 4 area locations. Canal at Carrollton, on the North Shore and Slidell, in Baton Rouge by the Mall of Louisiana, and now in Metairie, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. The Woodhouse Day Spa.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anyway. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" And he said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Cities, total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spots. NolaAC.com, your cool spots.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Healthy and delicious? Hard to find in New Orleans, easy to find at Lebanon's Cafe. For the finest in Middle Eastern cuisine, make it the Mediterranean diet on Carrollton at Jeanette. Lebanon's Cafe.
Hey, why aren't you at Katie's right now? Katie's in Mid-City. A great place for lunch and dinner, a great place to wind down after work in the middle of the day. You folks that end your shift at 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock, Katie's is a great place. Plop down at the bar, get a drink, enjoy some nice food, and so many New Orleans characters at Katie's. When the weather's like this, outdoor dining at Katie's. Don't forget about the Katie's of Harahan. That's Bienvenue. Bringing a little of that mid-city New Orleans flavor to the curve in Hickory Avenue. And yet a third Scott Craig restaurant, Francesca Deli and Pizzeria in Lakeview on Harrison Avenue, in between Canal Boulevard and West End, in the old Charlie's Deli location for you old schoolers. About 15 specialty sandwiches to choose from, a great big 10-ounce burger, a killer hot roast beef po' boy, and some of the best pizza anywhere at Francesca Deli and Pizzeria in Lakeview. Corey Johnson with you on a hot Monday afternoon. All right, a really warm Monday afternoon. I don't want to say hot. We'll get into June and July. And you're like, dude, you were saying back in March it was hot. We take this day any day in, May, June, July, August, early September, no doubt. But warm weather, without a doubt. High 60s to start, going into the 80s all week long. Maybe by this time next week, next Monday or Tuesday, we might get back into the 40s for a little while. I hope so. Karen Carter Peterson reports to jail for 22 months. How about Jay Banks and Graylin Banks, the brothers Banks, and their BS political consulting firm? They took a big chunk of money from Karen Carter Peterson's campaign, from the Louisiana Democratic Party, took a little piece of it, and then gave it back to Karen Carter Peterson. Now, look, I'm not saying Karen Carter Peterson didn't have a gambling addiction, but to act like all the money I took was used to pay back gambling debt. Gambling addiction or not, that's personal use. And it didn't all go to gambling debt. It went to personal expenses as well. That's why Karen Carter Peterson's going to jail for 22 months. Now, the thing about the gambling thing, it sends out a message like, hey, I'm not a criminal. I'm not a criminal. I have an addiction problem. Instead of you being mad at me that I'm a criminal, feel sorry for me that I have a disease. It's a crock is what it is. I'm not saying Karen Carter Peterson does not have or didn't have a gambling addiction. I'm just saying turning it from I'm not a criminal, I have a disease, instead of being mad at me, feel sorry for me, I just think is sort of pathetic. Especially when you're a public official, an elected official, and you're taking campaign donations, you're running, you're president of the Louisiana Democratic Party, and you're pilfering funds from there. No, Jay Banks, Graylin Banks, and at least a couple of other so-called political consulting firms were taking a piece of that money. Where are the feds with these cats? And Irvin Mayfield Jr., 11 months. Karen Carter Peterson took $400,000 from politics, from people donating to her campaign, from the Louisiana Democratic Party, all donations. I'm not saying it's a good thing. It's a bad thing. It's a crime. But they were people freely choosing to donate. Irvin Mayfield Jr. stole from taxpayers. He gets 11 months. He has this goofy mayor of ours, Junket Cantrell, praising him as like one of New Orleans' great sons. It's like, no. I'm one of New Orleans' great sons. You're one of New Orleans' great sons and daughters. Honest people that work every day and earn their money. Don't have a city contract. Don't get some BS paycheck. Actually work and earn their money. Every day, work hard. Irvin Mayfield Jr. is a scumbag, is a criminal. Stole $1.3 million from the library fund and gets 11 months. I mean, basically, it's like for every $120,000 he stole, he gets a month. There are people, not me, probably not you, but there are a lot of people that would go, wait, I can go to the Pensacola Country Club prison for 8 months, go to a halfway house for 3 more months, and I walk with $1.3 million? For a lot of folks, that's a few decades of working to get $1.3 million. For a lot of folks in New Orleans, that's a couple of decades of work to get $1.3 million. Irvin Mayfield spent 8 months, not in Angola, at a Pensacola Country Club jail that you could walk right out of if you're dumb. And then 3 months at a halfway house. No, it reeks. It yells. Crime does pay. Judge Jay Zaney is zany. Could have given Irvin Mayfield the 5 years he deserved. Instead, he gives him 18 months, and Irvin Mayfield Jr. pulls some strings with somebody he knows. He's got some naked pictures of some Fed. I don't know how he pulled the gimmick he pulled. 8 months at a country club prison, 3 months at a halfway house, out in 11 months. Supposed to be 85% of a federal crime. The 18 months was too little, but he should have been spending 15, 16 months in jail, not 11 months. And then the restitution, $500 a month. Just pathetic. How about $5,000 a month? He stole $1.3 million. It just tells people to go steal. Man, I mean, at worst, you're going to get the Irvin Mayfield thing. I mean, it's unbelievable to me. Karen Carter Peterson steals about $300,000 from political donors. Irvin Mayfield steals $1.3 million from New Orleans' most vulnerable, young children, mostly black children in New Orleans that really need the library system. The white kid that goes to Newman or St. Martin's, he's going to that library. Public school kids, they're going to the public libraries in New Orleans, and Irvin Mayfield walked with $1.3 million. And the way he spent it was obnoxious. Obnoxious. The gold trumpet, the Louis Vuitton trumpet case. Does he still have that stuff? The $1,300 breakfast, room service breakfast, $1,300 at the Four Seasons. Just obnoxious. Obnoxious. Rich and wealthy people, Bezos and people like that, don't spend $1,300 on room service breakfast. Just a jerk. A full-blown jerk. And I've already called out Zulu, that organization, which I respect most of the time, doing a lot for the community. They've been at it over 100 years. No, but they hire him 2 times. That's how we found out Irvin Mayfield was out of jail, because Zulu felt compelled. It's like LaToya Cantrell, one of our great native sons. No, a criminal that you should avoid. Avoid. Just sinful behavior. Pathetic. Really pathetic. It's discouraging for hardworking folks that bust their tail in Louisiana. You have a Irvin Mayfield getting away, stealing $1.3 million, living high on the hog. Blue-collar and white-collar crime pays in dysfunctional, broken New Orleans and Louisiana. As if we don't have a lot of problems already with crime, infrastructure, lack of an economy, zero growth, political corruption. Now it just yells, hey, and you can steal, basically rape and pillage and get away with it. And then an organization that's supposed to be great like Zulu hires this clown. No, just sinful behavior, Zulu. Shame on you. Shame on you. Who's this white boy talking about us? Corey Johnson. An honorable guy that tries to be honorable, tries to have integrity, ethics, moral, pride, honor. Something you should try over there on Orleans Avenue and Broad. Jeez, Zulu, it's supposed to be at a higher level than this. Just pathetic and excuse making like the mayor, native son and all that. That's nonsense. That's exactly what I said, excuse making. ExxonMobil Baton Rouge facility getting sued by the feds, the EEOC, not for polluting. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, 5 nooses found. No action taken by Exxon. I mean, there's a white dude working at Exxon that doesn't like some black employee and he brings a noose to work and hangs it in some work area. Or worse, some black employee that does it to try to stir the pot. Who knows? Because Exxon didn't do anything about it. But the feds are suing ExxonMobil Baton Rouge facility for these 5 nooses. I mean, just blows me away that there are people that still do this stuff in 2023. Just blows me away. Unbelievable. The Cardell Hayes pretrial hearing went down today. His trial set for September 18th now. Can't you just start his trial already? He's been out of jail for like 2+ years now. The trial has been postponed just numerous times, like a half dozen times. Killing beloved Saint Will Smith, former Saint Will Smith. Former Secretary of DOTD, Dr. Sean Wilson, a Democrat, jumping into the governor's race. Yeah, you right. Saints agree to terms with former Raider QB Derek Carr. Brett Martell will join us in about an hour, 5 o'clock power hour, to discuss that. Hey, Young's Dry Cleaning. If you're tired of your dry cleaner, you're looking to experience the best, Young's Dry Cleaning. I've been going with Young's for about 20 years, 20+ years, but maybe real about 25 years, actually. My mom, about 40+. A New Orleans institution since 1940. 83 years of excellence. To find out more about the best dry cleaner, youngsdrycleaning.com.
Hi, everyone. It's Tommy Wrong for asbestosmoneygrab.com. This is not, I repeat, not for folks with real asbestos problems. But if you're like me, and we're maybe taking a shop class in high school where you maybe breathed in some brake dust, and you know for certain you're fine, but you're the type of person that takes advantage of these types of situations, get tested, lawyer up, and steal some money like me. Go to I'm not really hurt at all, but like exploiting the system for free cash.com.
Kanye West was seen shopping at Super Discount Store in Chalmette.
I am Shakespeare in the flesh. Walt Disney, Nike, Google.
Okay, I think Kanye was talking about something else entirely. Super Discount Store on Paris Road in Chalmette.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about New Orleans food, fresh local seafood, and even a few Italian specialties. Old school New Orleans, just like you remember. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Enjoy outdoor dining on the streetcar line, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, the finest in Middle Eastern cuisine, Carrollton at Jeanette, Lebanon's Cafe.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Yeah, you right. Happy Monday afternoon. Corey Johnson back at you. Pretty warm afternoon. Low 80s, feels like mid 80s with the humidity. Karen Carter Peterson's probably feeling it. She's in Tyler, Texas, reporting to jail. 22 months in jail. Taking money from her campaign fund, taking money when she was president of the Louisiana Democratic Party, funneling it through at least a trio of so-called political consulting groups. I want a free gig in New Orleans, don't you? Where you absolutely don't do anything, but you get a nice paycheck for doing it, for doing nothing. Jay Banks, the former city councilman in New Orleans, his brother Graylin, they have one of these BS consulting firms. They took money from Karen Carter Peterson and from the Louisiana Democratic Party, took a little piece of it, and then sent it back to Karen Carter Peterson, pretending to do consulting. At least those guys and a couple of other groups. Where are the feds clamping down on those jokers? I want a free gig. I want a free check. I want to do absolutely nothing. I want a city contract or some political gimmick where there are no repercussions for me committing a crime, for breaking the law. Boy, folks that just live vicariously through the Edwin Edwards types, the John Ilarios, Mark Morial, Bill Jefferson. Just unbelievable. You wonder why Louisiana and New Orleans is broken? Because so many people around us just lack ethics, integrity, and morals. Weren't raised right. I don't know what the problem is. There's a reason we lose to Austin and Nashville and Atlanta, Dallas and Houston, New Orleans, and why as a state we lose to Texas and Florida and Georgia, North Carolina, just getting our butt kicked. LSU or the Saints do this, we'd freak out. You know, the luxury, the fun stuff, sports. But real life, your kid's future, our livelihood, don't seem to care. Don't seem to care. It's like my alma mater, LSU in Baton Rouge. As long as Saturday night and football's rolling, all is good. Who cares if we're good at physics on the Baton Rouge campus? The education's okay. My kid went there. They're doing just fine. That type of just broken, second-rate attitude is pathetic in Louisiana. That's why we're a stagnant state and why so many of your children live in another state. My kid lives in Nashville. My kid lives in Florida. My kid lives in Texas. You wonder why? Because of just allowing this to happen. And the citizenry with the dopey mentality, like, man, if Edwin Edwards was around, we wouldn't have these problems. It's like, what are you talking about? Edwin Edwards is the poster boy for why Louisiana has its problems. Karen Carter Peterson reporting to jail for a 22-month stay. No, Irvin Mayfield Jr. spends 11 months in federal jail. Not even jail. 8 months at a federal country club prison in Pensacola, and then 3 months at a halfway house. And he stole $1.3 million from inner city kids in New Orleans from the library system. Just sinful behavior. How's he get rewarded? 11 months, he's out, and Zulu hires him not for one, but for 2 gigs over Mardi Gras, because Zulu is part of the broken mentality in New Orleans and Louisiana. Man, you know, we're Zulu. We're this historic black organization. We got to hire our black son, Irvin Mayfield. Let's give him a hand up. He's getting out of jail. He needs all the help he can get. He stole $1.3 million, Zulu. Took it from young black children in New Orleans. And what this says, Zulu, is you don't care about young black children in New Orleans. That's what it screams. And Jay Banks was a former city councilman. He was elected. His brother Graylin and he owned some BS political consulting firm, and they took Karen Carter Peterson's money, took a chunk of it, and gave the bulk of it back to Karen Carter Peterson for personal expenses. That's why she's in jail. She needed help. Jay Banks and Graylin Banks and at least 2 other, quote, political consulting groups that don't do any political consulting. It's a joke. It's a free check come election time. One of the guys almost single-handedly, I guess it's Johnny Jackson and Sherman Copeland. Sherman Copeland at like 70-something years old. Just a sad, pathetic shell of what he used to be, a bigger, sad, pathetic human being. Friend of mine was running a campaign for somebody an election or 2 ago. And Sherman Copeland's like, if you want to be, I forget which acronym group he's a part of, Bold Life, Soul Coup, one of those BS political groups that literally keeps black people down. Hey, don't vote for substance. Don't go with the MLK message. Just vote for the black guy we endorse because we're getting paid off on the side. My buddy's out there. He wants his candidate's name on one of those little sheets that these folks bring into the polls. And Sherman Copeland was running one of those acronym groups and wanted like $1,500. My friend's like, no shot. 1,000, no. 500 they agreed to. Sherman Copeland goes to pick up the check from my friend, and he's like, okay, I need the $1,000. My friend's like, we agreed to 500. 750? Just keeps trying to get more money out of him. My friend writes the check to Bold Life, Soul Coup, one of them. Sherman Copeland leaves. Calls my friend, says, just noticed the check written to whatever the acronym. I need it written to Sherman Copeland Political LLC. So he has to go back, rip up a check, write another one. And it's for $500. Like Sherman Copeland's driving around at election time, picking up little scraps here and there from people and trying to work it up higher so they can go print up 2,000 of these flyers and pass them around to folks. Just a pathetic existence. But it's the same Sherman Copeland, that criminal that was doing Edwin Edwards' bidding when he was a House rep in Baton Rouge and destroying Buddy Romer's plans to make New Orleans like Charlotte and make Louisiana like North Carolina. Look at Charlotte. Look at the Research Triangle. Little Raleigh, Durham, larger population than Metro New Orleans now. No, North Carolina's explosive growth as a state. They went from being a state like bunch of rednecks, like backwoods, not a city in the state. Now they've got a couple of metropolitan areas in that state and a lot of money flowing into that state and young people moving there and an economy. The opposite. I'll never forget Buddy Romer, late 80s, trying to do all those reforms. Edwin Edwards, John Ilario, Nunes, Sherman Copeland, all these characters with no honor, no pride, no integrity, no ethics, no morals, crashing the party, wrecking the party. And we are where we are because of that type of stuff. No, Sherman Copeland, just not a good man, out for himself, blew up New Orleans East. Johnny Jackson, Sherman Copeland, bringing all that Section 8 housing to the East so they could profit, so they could get a kickback. Look at New Orleans East. All you black folks out there wondering why you live out in the East and you don't have just basic services, you can thank Johnny Jackson and Sherman Copeland. That's a fact. Unbelievable. LSU Law School, day one. Look to your left, look to your right. In a year from now, one of those people won't be there. They're basically saying a third of the class will be gone. People drop out. Law school's not for me. This is too hard. Don't have the time, whatever. Look to your left, look to your right. One of those people won't be here in a year. In New Orleans and Louisiana, look to your left, look to your right. One of those people is a sellout. One of those people settles. One of those people is second rate. No, it's just embarrassing and pathetic, and people accept it. I wish there was a scorecard for cities and states like we have for LSU and the Saints, like winning record or losing record, because we freak out about that. But New Orleans and Louisiana failing for decades and decades and decades, not too many people really seem to care. And just the cycle continues over and over again. Look at New Orleans. LaToya Cantrell is mayor. Look at the governor's race. Jeff Landry's the favorite to be governor. Does anyone in their right mind in Louisiana think Jeff Landry's going to do anything for Louisiana to get us running like Texas or Florida or North Carolina, like Buddy Romer was trying to do 40 plus years ago? I'm sorry, 35 years ago. 35 years ago. Not a shot. Impossible to win with a Jeff Landry and a LaToya Cantrell. We need special people, change agents, folks that can move us forward, not characters, not painfully average at best people, painfully average at best. We need special people, people that can make a difference. It is impossible with LaToya Cantrell or Jeff Landry. Even though they are opposite ideology-wise, LaToya Cantrell, hyper left, Jeff Landry, hyper right, they go by the exact same playbook. Just the other side's the enemy, divisive, divide and conquer type mentality, benefiting themselves, not us, the citizenry. No, there's just no chance of winning in New Orleans with LaToya Cantrell. Impossible to win in Louisiana with Jeff Landry. Impossible. Hey, Lebanon's Cafe, with this weather, outdoor dining tonight under the green awning, under the oak trees on the streetcar line. Carrollton at Jeanette, where Carrollton Avenue is one lane. In between Claiborne's and the River Bend, some of the city's finest Middle Eastern food, including lamb chops and shish kebab. Outdoor dining tonight. Make it Lebanon's Cafe, open till 9:30.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Have a painting project but can't decide on the perfect color? At Helm Paint and Decorating, we offer half-pint paint samples in any Benjamin Moore color for under $5, so you can test potential paint colors before investing in a full gallon.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan.
being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here, and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring, and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Rouse's Markets means convenience. Every one of our 65 locations opens at 7 a.m., some at 6:30, and they're open until 10 p.m., with some staying open till 11 or even midnight. Convenience. Rouse's Markets. Tastes like home.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Come to Fausto's Italian Bistro. Age-old Italian recipes like the calamari fritti or spaghetti and meatballs. Lunch Monday to Friday, dinner Monday to Saturday. 530 Vets, a block before Dorignax. Fausto's Italian Bistro.
The city's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa, with 4 area locations: New Orleans, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and Metairie. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. NOLA.woodhousespas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Recently, Kim Kardashian was seen at Super Discount Store in Chalmette.
Let's party.
Can you think of any other celebrities that won't sue us? Super Discount Store in Chalmette. The lowest prices allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and cold beer. 3235 Paris Road.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's Top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's Top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
I remember I guess it was about 20 years ago, a buddy of mine, one of my best friends, was living in D.C. for a year, and then he went to New York for about 20 years. This is like 20 years ago or so. He's like, dude, New Orleans is building a Canal Street streetcar, putting the streetcar back on Canal Street, and you have so much dysfunction in our city. It's unbelievable. And I told him, I said, no, I hear you. That's an easy thing to attack. You know, there's a bunch of spokes on the wheel, and we can think of all the things that we need. But that doesn't mean you neglect some things that are, I mean, you could argue it's just great transportation for locals to get to and from work, but it's sort of touristy. It's sort of a luxury item, kind of that it goes in that category more than a necessity. So even when you have a dysfunctional place, you can't just solely focus on pure necessities and ignore those sort of luxury type items. You're already narrowing the funnel on the luxury items to begin with. The necessity things, I mean, You can't afford to narrow the funnel. We do that naturally in Louisiana. Don't address all the things that are of vital importance. So a bunch of things that most cities are doing, where both that are necessary and luxury, we're not doing. But you've got to at least do some of those luxury type things. You can't just forget them. The point I'm getting at, I think it's easy to attack this news story that broke a few days ago about the Crescent City Connection getting a new lighting system. The lights that were put on the Crescent City Connection, just the lights that dot the top of each span, each bridge, are like 20 or 30 years old. Supposedly they have some electrical system problem, and that's why the bridges haven't been lit up at night, or if they are, it's only one bridge or some lights, whatever. So I think the city and the state's smart, like, let's not go and fix this old system that's 30 years old. Let's do something to kind of, make those bridges look nicer and newer. And what they're going to do, they're getting a new LED lighting system similar to you see at the Superdome, where the Superdome can be lit up in all kind of different colors, depending on kind of, the mood of the city or an event going on or whatever. 4th of July, it could be red, white, and blue. Mardi Gras, it's purple, gold, and green. The Saints are winning, it's black and gold. LSU's winning, it's purple and gold. Tulane winning, it's blue and green. That type of stuff. Some conventions coming to town, maybe you put their colors up there from the convention if they have some kind of logo or something. So just like the Superdome with that lighting system, where you can change the colors, and it kind of, makes the dome pop a little bit, makes it look really nice at night. They're going to do that exact type of system on the Crescent City Connections, both bridges. So at night, they'll be lit up different colors. I'm sure they'll have a standard pattern they'll use most of the time, and then they can just, get on the computer and change it up and put different colors up there depending on what events are going on. So I know you can go, Corey, my God, you go past Reed in the east and there are no lights on the I-10. You get off at I-510, it is pitch black on I-510, not a light working. You get off at Old Gentilly Road or Almonaster, it's pitch black out there. I hear you. Those aren't luxury items. That's something that needs to be fixed and repaired, and supposedly the city and the state are working on that. The Crescent City Connection and LED system is kind of a luxury item, but it's also, it makes that bridge pop. It makes the city just indirectly, kind of subconsciously more viable, especially for tourists and out-of-towners, conventioneers. It makes us look like we're going somewhere. So just like I told my buddy, yeah, we're building a Canal Street streetcar, and yes, we have infrastructure and economy problems and crime problems and public school problems. I hear you. But you can't put every single penny into that and totally neglect those luxury type things that are part of the city too, that keep it going. They're already getting diminished. They're already getting, cut. So, I think it's an easy criticism. My God, dude, New Orleans priorities. You're going to light up the Crescent City Connection and I drive out in the east and there are no lights. I hear you. The lights need to be fixed in the east yesterday. And the Crescent City Connection, I think I agree with this plan of upgrading the lighting system from just basic, like Christmas lights on top of the bridge from 20, 30 years ago, which was fun. That was nice lighting them up. But it's 2023. Lighting up those bridges from top to bottom, the superstructure, the steel, frame of those bridges, it's going to look fantastic. And it's going to be another little pop for the CBD downtown, that part of the city. It's like now this is a different thing. It's private and it's funded by donations. It's like that big awning at the World War II Museum. Adds to the skyline, makes us more viable, even though, we got lots of other problems that need to be fixed. And New Orleans East deserves a lot better than, pitch blackness, darkness at night on I-10 and I-510. It's ridiculous. I'm a creature of habit, kind of ridiculous. I went to Fausto's today for lunch. I probably go made chicken with the Italian seasonings, the Italian breadcrumbs, paper thin, crispy. So yeah, on Mondays around 11:30 or so, you can usually catch me at Fausto's. I dined outside today, Blue Boy. I got a little sausage for you. That's right, Blue Boy. I'm not forgetting you. They're opening right now for dinner. Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets. Be there. Hey, the 5 o'clock powwow is next. Don't move. Derek Carr coming to the Saints.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and
Blue
Spectrum
Boy,
Channel
quiet.
333.
The man's
Also on
trying to
YouTube,
speak,
on
Blue
radio
Boy.
at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend and Company Fine Jewelers Breitling time, 5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, is now more convenient than ever. Now open, the Woodhouse Day Spa, Metairie location, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. Metairie and Kenner's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot.
Where can you find shish kebab in New Orleans? Lamb, beef, chicken, shrimp, plus all your other Mediterranean favorites. Lebanon's Cafe on the streetcar line. Lunch, dinner, and shish kebab. Lebanon's Cafe.
If you or a loved one are suffering from addiction, listen to Springfield Wellness Center's founder, Paula Norris Metayer.
I feel personally, when I walk around on the grounds, that it's sacred ground. It's healing. Just the environment is healing. Just being here makes one feel like that, I can let go. I can let go of the worry. I can let go of the stress that I've been carrying around for a long time. We don't shame anybody. We don't blame anybody. We don't judge anyone. Just that alone really is the foundation on which everything else that we do is done.
Put your addiction behind you. Call Springfield Wellness Center, 504-291-4000.
Just call us. That's all. And we'll be waiting for you.
504-291-4000. 291-4000. Springfield Wellness Center. SpringfieldWellnessCenter.com.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became number one for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about John Fury, an absolute genius at the fryer, making the best fried shrimp in New Orleans. None better anywhere. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store, and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
A little night court coming your way. Night court reruns coming your way. You remember the magician guy? Was it Harry? The judge on Night Court. He left New Orleans about a decade ago. Got disgusted and left. Yikes. All right, no Night Court. It's neutral ground time. That's former Saints quarterback Drew Brees, old number 9. Saints have a new quarterback. Former Raider Derek Carr agreeing to terms with the black and gold. He'll earn almost $38 million a season over 4 years. Wow. Hopefully he's the answer at quarterback. We'll talk about it in a little while with Brett Martell from the Associated Press. The old AP. Brett Martell in about 25 minutes on the program. Tulane, Big 12 rumors are heating up. Could the Green Wave be heading to the Big 12? That would be absolutely incredible, huh? Pelicans tonight in Sacramento. It's not a sports talk program, by golly. Last hour, though, got a little wild and crazy. No, it's tough living here. It's tough living in New Orleans and Louisiana. I'm a native, went to LSU. Just second rate. How we accept second rate, how we don't try to win, how we like losing. Losing's easy. Winning's hard. Winning takes effort. Losing is simple and easy. And in Louisiana and New Orleans, we've been doing a lot of losing for decades and decades and decades. Literally getting our ass kicked. States around the South, around the region. It's not even close. Louisiana compared to like Texas or Florida or Georgia? Are you kidding me? But what's sad, we can't compare Louisiana to like Tennessee, North Carolina, even like Alabama. It's embarrassing. We like to lose. We need some kind of official scorecard, like New Orleans versus Atlanta, Dallas, Houston, Nashville, Charlotte, Austin. And Louisiana versus Texas, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama. I don't know, maybe North Carolina. Maybe we'd react differently. Because I tell you what, when the Saints or LSU loses, we freak out. It's amazing. Our priorities are like the party, luxury items, fun, sports, instead of the real stuff that matters, education, infrastructure, the economy. Crime. It's just mind-blowing. I don't know what's wrong with New Orleans and what's wrong with Louisiana. Why there's so many second-rate people that settle. And then you can throw in folks that lack integrity, ethics, morals, honor, pride. I mean, just a lot of folks that weren't raised right, I guess. Folks procreating that should have never had children, aren't parenting material. Karen Carter Peterson reporting to jail, 22 months. 22 months for federal wire fraud charges. She's reporting to the federal prison camp in Bryan, Texas. She basically took campaign funds and took Louisiana Democratic Party funds when she was president and funneled them to these jokers, these characters. Another New Orleans and Louisiana problem. People that work for government, have a city contract, a state contract, literally are employed by the city or the state and don't do anything ever. Just get a free paycheck. It's a bunch of clowns we got. No, there's these political consulting groups that don't do a thing. Former city councilman Jay Banks has one of them with his brother Graylin. One of these BS political consulting groups getting free money and doing nothing to earn it. Basically, Karen Carter Peterson was giving Jay Banks and Graylin Banks her campaign money, Louisiana Democratic Party money, for fake work that was never performed. And then they took a little piece of the money and then they funneled it back to Karen Carter Peterson, the bulk of it, for her personal expenses. Now, did Karen Carter Peterson have a gambling addiction? I think that's fair to say she did. Was all the money used for paying off the gambling addiction? Not at all. It was for personal expenses, for her to benefit personally. Some of it went to her gambling habit. But just that as an excuse is pathetic and lame as well, because it's saying, hey, public, I'm not a criminal. I'm not a bad person. I've got this addiction problem. I have this disease. It's beyond my control. And it's just sad and pathetic. No. You have a problem, a personal problem. You lack ethics, integrity, and morals, and you can't blame it on a disease or addiction completely. That's just pathetic and lame. But that's what she's trying to sell us. The judge said, don't really care, gave her 22 months. She's earned that jail time. I don't gloat or happy about it. I feel bad for Karen Carter Peterson. I've met her a few times, very nice lady, but she has some problems. And it's not just gambling, integrity, ethics, and moral problems, honor and pride problems. That's why she's going to jail. I'm just wondering, Jay Banks, Graylin Banks, these other jokers that have these political consulting firms, why aren't they going to jail for helping to funnel the money, to wash the money and take a piece? And then I think about Irvin Mayfield Jr., who stole $1.3 million from New Orleans' most vulnerable, young black girls and boys, kids, Irvin Mayfield Jr., stole $1.3 million and was just living high on the hog, just like a total jerk. $1,300, Four Seasons, New York, room service breakfast, a $1,300 tab. I'm telling you, rich and wealthy people don't do that. Just beyond obnoxious. And then Zulu, supposed to be this prideful organization over 100 years. It's not just about Mardi Gras and parading. It's about giving back to the community. They felt compelled to hire Irvin Mayfield not once but twice over Mardi Gras. Zulu, I got news for you. There are legitimate black musicians that would love the money and love the gig, the honor of working for Zulu, and you guys feel compelled to hire this criminal. Let him figure out his way on his own. You don't have to give him a leg up, an arm up, help him out. He'll figure it out on his own. He's a criminal that stole from New Orleans' most vulnerable. Essentially what Zulu's saying is, screw young black kids in New Orleans. We're more worried about this one guy. The needs of the few outweigh the needs of the many, and the many are young black boys and girls in New Orleans that needed the library system. But Irvin Mayfield just wanted to live high on the hog and act like he's rich and wealthy. Just a clown, a joker. And Zulu felt compelled to hire him, not once but twice over Mardi Gras. Just pathetic. Come on, Zulu, you got to do better than that. Shameful behavior, sinful behavior by Zulu. Supposed to be a great organization in New Orleans doing great things for the city, but just got wrapped up in the black thing or whatever. I don't know what it is. We got to hire Irvin Mayfield. Yeah, that's a good idea. I second that motion. Jeez, Pete's. Have a little integrity, ethics, morals. Try to live up to the standard of over 100 years of Zulu. Just pathetic. Irvin Mayfield spends 11 months in jail, 8 months at a country club prison in Pensacola, and 3 months at a halfway house. Stole $1.3 million from New Orleans' most vulnerable. His restitution, $500 a month. It would take him 200 plus years to pay it back. Judge Jay Zaney, you are zany. Not giving him 5 years and not making the restitution a lot more. Just pathetic. From judges to Zulu to individuals, just a second-rate city and state. We get what we deserve. The chickens have come home to roost big time. We get what we deserve. This Edwin Edwards, John Alario, Bill Jefferson, Mark Morial mentality. You folks can have it. I'm going to try to, on this program, like I always have, let's push for a higher standard, just slightly higher. Just a slightly higher standard. My God, just pathetic. Pathetic. Boy, not pathetic, but it's hot out there. Can't help the weather. But 81 feels like mid-80s. Yikes. I'll tell you what it is good for. Painting your house, taking care of that paint project. New Orleanians that know Helm Paint and Decorating. For over 50 years in the metro area. 7 locations, free 2-hour delivery. You can pick your colors, get all your supplies online. They'll bring it right to you. Everybody that knows Helm Paint and Decorating. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Super discount store in Chalmette.
3235 Paris Road.
The lowest price allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and beer.
Worth the drive from anywhere.
If you're throwing a party and need wine, alcohol, and cold beer, super discount store in Chalmette.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSAgency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSAgency.com.
Come to Fausto's Italian Bistro. Age-old Italian recipes like the calamari fritti or spaghetti and meatballs. Lunch Monday to Friday, dinner Monday to Saturday. 530 Vets, a block before Dorignax. Fausto's Italian Bistro.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you every afternoon on radio, television, YouTube. We broadcast from the Buddy Diliberto, River City's Total Maintenance Studios. River City's Total Maintenance, probably the largest AC and heating operation in the metro area. They've been at it over 40 years with a sterling reputation. I'll just make it easy for you. I don't know what you want out of an air conditioning company, a heating operation, besides honest experts that come immediately. Honest experts that come immediately. That's what I want. I want people that I can trust because I don't want to learn about air conditioning or heat. Got enough on my plate. Don't want to learn about air conditioning and heat. I unequivocally trust Fair and Honest Lucas and the boys at River City's Total Maintenance. Incapable of screwing you around. Only doing the repair, service, replacement that is absolutely necessary. They're air conditioning and heating experts. They're not going to guess what's wrong. They're not going to replace parts and not fix the problem. They're going to diagnose it right. They're going to do it quickly, and they're going to get it fixed really fast. Yeah, they're air conditioning and heating experts. They're not messing around. They know their business. And they come immediately because Fair and Honest Lucas and the boys, they know you're inconvenienced. Your air conditioning or heat is not working right, or worse, not working at all. So they come right away. That's all you need in an air conditioning and heating outfit. Honest air conditioning and heating experts that come immediately. That's what you get with River City's Total Maintenance. You can find them online, NOLAAC.com. NOLAAC.com. Every day we broadcast live from the Buddy Diliberto, River City's Total Maintenance Studios. Now, I love Fair and Honest Lucas and the boys. Another one of my ace in the holes in life. We all have those. The doctor you go to, the vet who cuts your hair, where you get your car repaired, whatever. You have these people you know and trust. They do you right. Otherwise, you're scrambling, you're looking, you're calling friends. Where should I go for this? Where should I go for that? As you grow older through time, more experience, you narrow it down to these folks that are the best at what they do. That's River City's Total Maintenance. I've been using Fair and Honest Lucas and the boys for 15 plus years now. They replaced my entire system in my house. Everything, inside, outside, the ducts, the vents, everything. about 3 years ago. And it was like ants on a sugar cube. About 3 or 4 cats came out to my house. They knocked it out in one day. Fantastic. NOLAAC.com. NOLAAC.com. Karen Carter Peterson reporting to jail, 22 months. Federal wire fraud charges. A federal prison in Bryan, Texas will be her home for almost the next 22 months. I'm sure she'll get out with good behavior. 85% of the time spent. Federal term, she'll, I guess, get out in about 19 months or so. What about these consulting groups that funneled the money back to her, that took a little piece and then funneled the money back to her? It's not my opinion. It's a fact. The feds have said as much. One of those groups was led by former New Orleans City Councilman Jay Banks. It's mind-blowing. He's got a political consulting firm, a group that does very little to no work and gets paid for it. Just sinful. His brother, Graylin Banks, is his partner. Jay Banks, Graylin Banks, this hack BS political consulting firm that took money from Karen Carter Peterson's campaign fund, took money from the Louisiana Democratic Party, pinched off a little piece, and then sent the bulk of it back to Karen Carter Peterson for her personal expenses. Where are the feds when it comes to Jay Banks and Graylin Banks and a couple of other of these so-called political consulting firms washing the money, funneling the money, and taking a piece themselves? You don't want those folks getting off scot-free. You don't want that. Already got Irvin Mayfield Jr. stealing $1.3 million from the library in Orleans Parish and gets 11 months in jail for it. 8 months at a country club prison, 3 months at a halfway house. I think there'd be a lot of people, like a measurable percentage, not 3, 4, 5%, but like 30, 40, maybe 50% of people that would take $1.3 million in exchange for spending 8 months at that Pensacola country club prison and then 3 months at a halfway house. You're telling me in 11 months, at a cushy, easy jail, not too stressful, not fun. I wouldn't want to be, hey, Corey, you got to go to English Turn Golf and Country Club for 11 months. You can't leave the grounds. I wouldn't want that. I want my freedom. I want to go where I want to go when I want to do it. It's America. I want to be free. Don't want to be restricted to any one place. But the Pensacola, military-based jail, you can walk out of it. It's not like hard time at all. It's the opposite. It's the easiest jail time possible. Flying in crawfish on the weekends, barbecuing steak, stuff like that. So 8 months there, 3 months at a halfway house, walking with $1.3 million. A lot of people would take that trade. And the restitution, $500 a month? Take over 200 years to pay that back. Judge Jay Zaney should be embarrassed. Could have given Irvin Mayfield the full 5 years. Instead, he gives him 18 months. And Irvin Mayfield knows some feds, pulled some strings, and got out early. Don't know how he did it, who he knows, but he did something and got out early. And then, as I mentioned, Zulu's supposed to be an honorable organization. They hire him not once, but twice over Mardi Gras. Shame on you, Zulu. Sinful behavior. There are a lot of black musicians, legitimate, honest, hardworking black musicians that are busting their tail to make a living as a musician that didn't steal $1.3 million from young black boys and girls in New Orleans from the library system. They're hardworking, they're honest. They would have loved to have worked for Zulu. They would have loved that honor. They would have loved the gig. They would have loved the money. Instead, you feel compelled to give it to Irvin Mayfield Jr.? No, not a lot of honor in that, Zulu. ExxonMobil Baton Rouge facility sued by the feds. 5 nooses found on the premises, in the workplace. Some dopey white person, or hopefully not some black person trying to stir the pot. No action taken by Exxon at all. The feds, the EEOC, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, suing ExxonMobil in Baton Rouge. Cardell Hayes' pretrial hearing today. His official trial will start September 18th after a couple of years of delays, like a half dozen delays. No justice there. Of course, the shooting death of former beloved Saint Will Smith. Former Secretary of the Department of Transportation and Development, Dr. Sean Wilson, a Democrat, running for governor against goofy AG Jeff Landry, a criminal. Treasurer John Schroeder's a good guy. State Senator Sharon Hewitt's a good lady. State Rep Richard Nelson, I don't know much about. I'm sure an honorable person. Jeff Landry is not. Hey, Brett Martell's going to join us in about 5 minutes. He's from the Associated Press. He'll fill us in on the latest. The Saints agree to terms with former Raider quarterback Derek Carr, 31 years old, reportedly a 4-year, $150 million deal, $100 million guaranteed, $60 million signing bonus. His deal averages $37.5 million a year. The Pels are in Sacramento tonight. Tulane, Big 12 rumors heating up. Tulane going to the Big 12. That would be fantastic. You know what's fantastic? Fury's Restaurant in Metairie. Open till 9 p.m. tonight, serving local fresh seafood. They don't serve anything frozen. They don't serve anything from out of state or out of the country. Local fresh seafood. Start with some onion rings and that killer gumbo. Fury's Restaurant in Metairie, open till 9 p.m. tonight. Hey, television audience, we're out of here. It's coming up on 5:30. We'll see you tomorrow. Cox Channel 4, Spectrum Channel 333, straight up 4 p.m. mañana. Radio audience, YouTube audience, live streaming, CoreyTalks.com. We seamlessly continue until 6 p.m. Oh, so fine, 93.9 FM, CoreyTalks.com. Corey spelled Kaare, CoreyTalks.com. And we're on YouTube Live. I love it. You can check out the program live. You can check it out after the fact. Check out yesterday, last week, last month's program. We're on YouTube. Corey Johnson Neutral Ground on YouTube. Crescent City Connection to get some new LED lighting system, just like the Superdome. Light up those two bad boy bridges in a modern way. I liked, 20, 30 years ago when they put those like Christmas lights dotting the top of each span. But it's 2023. An LED modern system like the Superdome has is long overdue. Lighting those up different colors. It could be Mardi Gras, purple, green, and gold. Could be New Year's or 4th of July, red, white, and blue. Could be the Saints with a big win going to the playoffs, black and gold. LSU, purple and gold. Tulane, green and blue. Anything and everything, just like they do with the Superdome. Big convention coming to town, lighted up the, color of the Conventioneers logo or their colors that they work off of. Now, a lot of folks can easily criticize that. Corey, they're lights out on I-10 past Reed Boulevard. The I-510 in the east is totally dark. Almonaster, Old Gentilly Road exits pitch black at night. No lighting. No, that needs to happen. But you can't neglect stuff that's sort of like a luxury item either. We already have that funneled down to barely doing any of it. Lighting up the Crescent City Connection with the new LED system, I'm for that. Hey, when we come back, Brett Martell joins us.
This is what Drew Brees thinks about Super Discount Store in Chalmette. Actually, Brees doesn't think at all about Super Discount Store, but they do have the lowest prices allowed by Louisiana law for beer, alcohol, and wine. Super Discount Store in Chalmette. Super Discount Store!
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision. a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here, and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anyway. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about their daily lunch specials like red beans and rice, black-eyed peas, white butter beans, liver and onions. Daily lunch specials. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
Hey, every Friday, Michael Heck from Greater New Orleans Inc. joins us on the program. And every Friday, that segment's brought to you by Latrim, the global manufacturing giant. Latrim is growing so much, they don't stop. They just grow all around the planet. And they're a New Orleans born, bred, based manufacturing giant. And because they're growing at such a huge rate, they continue to hire East Bankers, West Bankers. It's not a job, it's a career. Go to their website for a full listing of positions at their Elmwood facility under the UEP Long Bridge, Latrim.com. Latrim spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M, Latrim.com. You North Shore folks, you don't have to travel across the causeway to the Elmwood campus. They've got you covered right down the I-12 near Hammond. Latrim's North Shore facility. For a full listing of positions available, go to Latrim.com. Latrim spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M, Latrim.com. And it's not like 2 or 3 job openings. It's dozens and dozens and dozens of job openings right now at Latrim.com. Hey, Brett Martell, slightly delayed, probably getting his story ready for tonight. He'll join us in about 10 minutes. The Saints agree to terms with former Raider quarterback Derek Carr. He's going to get about $37.5 million a season on average. Reportedly, $100 million guaranteed, including a $60 million signing bonus. No, the Saints have to do that to push the money back to get under the cap. They're kind of, I guess one day they're going to have to pay off the credit card, but maybe not. Mickey Loomis has been very good balancing the cap, working out contracts, but it does require a lot of bonus money. Reworking all these Saints deals, I guess the only danger in it is if a player gets injured or if a player doesn't work out, like plateaus out or worse, goes down in productivity. You're giving him this bonus money. You're giving him these, millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars in some instances up front. So the Saints can spread that bonus money over years and reduce their cap hit. And to get under the cap, existing players with existing contracts, they're doing exactly that. They're going to say, hey, we're going to honor your contract, even boost it a little when we rework it. But you're going to get less per year, but we're going to give you this money up front guaranteed. And what player out there wouldn't like that? The Saints having to get under the cap, hard for the team, works Mickey Loomis, he gets it done, but the players benefit because they're getting guaranteed money in their pocket right away, day one of the new deal, right now. Instead of having to get it next year, the year after. They're getting a lot of guaranteed signing bonus money up front, and the Saints get to spread that out over time. Derek Carr agreeing to terms, like I said, $37.5 million on average each year. It's a 4-year deal. He's 31. It's reportedly a 4-year, $150 million deal with $100 million guaranteed, including $60 million the day he signs his name. That's just crazy. Not crazy like the Saints are nuts, just crazy like, my God, the amount of money NFL players make. But the players get about 70% of the gross, money that the NFL generates. And the owners, the 32 owners, Gail Benson and her 31 peers, they get 1/3 of that money. The owners get 1/3, 30%, 33%. The players get 2/3, around 70%. That's part of the collective bargaining agreement. Big rumors heating up. Could Tulane be going to the Big 12? That would be tremendous. I mean, right now, the AAC in football, they probably year in, year out are the 5th best conference. One of those, other Power 5, either the ACC or the Pac-10, usually falls out of the top 5 when not that they're not in the Power 5. I just mean the quality of the teams, the quality of the wins, the bowl games they go to. The AAC, the American Athletic, that Tulane's in, they're usually like the 5th best conference year in, year out in college football. And maybe even in other sports. But locked and loaded in a Power 5 conference like the Big 12 would be tremendous for Tulane. Would be tremendous. This would have happened a long time ago. Tulane's not the problem. The New Orleans market, a stagnant market with not a vibrant economy, is no longer a top 50 market in America. If New Orleans had just half the growth of like an Austin, Texas, or a Charlotte, or Nashville, or Las Vegas, any of these places that New Orleans used to be bigger than just a generation or so ago, it would already have happened for Tulane. Tulane's not the problem. Would these power conferences like Tulane to, maybe have some better facilities or be better in football years ago? Probably so. But they would have accepted Tulane like they are because of the New Orleans market if it were more viable. Tulane's got Yeoman Stadium now. They've got a great baseball stadium. They've got a lot of women's sports If they get a basketball arena built, and who knows, a Big 12 conference affiliation might be like, guys, we're going to sign you up, but in the next 5 to 7 years, you have to build a new basketball arena. You have to build a new basketball arena. You have to invest more in sports. No, Mike Pitts, the president of Tulane, he gets it. Scott Cowan didn't get it at all. He didn't realize that athletics can be a marketing tool where you can grow the academic side, increase donations for academics, increase enrollment. Scott Cowan wanted to de-emphasize athletics at Tulane. I'm not a, investigative reporter. I'm a talk show, radio, and TV host. I take stories that real journalists, that real investigative reporters break, and I talk about them, discuss them on the program. Every now and then I'll break a story or find out about a story. And Tulane athletics, I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm just telling you like it is. I was the first mover on that Scott Cowan wanted to de-emphasize athletics. I had a source within Tulane on the board, essentially. And I had another source that corroborated all of this, another independent source that corroborated all of this. I called my source on the board Oliver N. Blue, Oliver N. Blue, like the colors. Olive and blue, Oliver N. Blue. No, telling me exactly what Scott Cowan was doing, trying to go Division III, and basically reporting that. I remember seeing Scott Cowan at the Superdome, walked up to him. He turned his back to him. I stuck my hand out to shake his hand and say hello. He literally turned his back to me where I'm staring at his back. Just ridiculous, pathetic. No, he never understood. He's an intelligent man, but was anti-athletics. Pitts gets it. The present Tulane president, he understands it. He's seen what athletics have done for Duke and Stanford and Vanderbilt, schools like that have benefited financially, academically, enrollment-wise, using sports as a marketing tool. And Troy Dannon, the AD, gets it. So no, Tulane's in a whole different stratosphere. Last year's magical football season was off the charts. Incredible. That Cotton Bowl game, one of the greatest college football games I've ever seen in my life. As good as it gets. I mean, USC, Caleb Williams, the quarterback, Heisman winner, Tulane could not stop him. USC never punted in the game. Ty J. Spears, the running back for the Wave, future NFL back, USC could not stop him. It took a safety to put Williams on the bench. The video of him on the bench rolling his eyes, antsy, trying to get back in the game, but Tulane and Spears ran it down the throat of USC, burned up the rest of the clock, and won the game at the end. No safety, and Tulane doesn't win that game. Just an incredibly marvelous football game. Like I said, one of the greatest I've ever seen. And Tulane's now officially on the map. Willie Fritz getting the job done. Tulane football is at an entirely different level. Yeoman Stadium next year is going to be rocking. There's like a family that lives in Luling, a husband and wife, and their 2 kids that have no affiliation with the Green Wave in the least bit. But they're like, man, Saints tickets and Pelicans tickets are kind of pricey. I'll buy season tickets to Tulane. That'll be our outlet. Especially when they're winning. Winning changes everything. Tulane to the Big 12 would be amazing. The Pels are in Sacramento tonight. Brett Martell's going to join us in a second to discuss. Hey, every day this program on radio, television, live on YouTube, brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex. Ronnie Lamarck from Araby Park. Lamarck Ford, the big store in Kenner, #1 in the region. The Lincoln dealership in Kenner, #1 in the region. You think Ronnie would just rest on that? Instead, he scooped up Crescent City Ford, the truck dealership on Jefferson Highway. Every day this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kenner and now Lamarck Crescent City Ford in Harahan.
The city's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa with 4 area locations: New Orleans, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and Metairie. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. NOLA.woodhousespas.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
If you or a loved one are suffering from Parkinson's disease, listen to Springfield Wellness Center's founder, Paula Norris Metayer.
People started coming to us and asking for help for things other than addiction. We have a Parkinson's patient here. He comes in once a month and gets his little booster, because that's what you have to do. In 2 hours after he started, his tremors in his hands stopped. So he said, Paula, your major marketing challenge is that it's too good to be true. But it's true. It truly is true. We can't say that all of these things have a cure, but these things happen and they're real.
Call Springfield Wellness Center, 504-291-4000.
Just call us. That's all. And we'll be waiting for you.
Make the call, 504-291-4000, 291-4000. Springfield Wellness Center, springfieldwellnesscenter.com.
At Helm Paint, we go the extra mile with free delivery anywhere in the metro area. In the middle of a job and short on paint? Call us and we'll come to you.
Short on time? Call in your order and pick it up in the drive-thru at our Earhart Boulevard location.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Hey guys, it's Frank Smith from LasVegasGambling.com with your weekend 5-star lock of the week. Lock of the week. Take the Lakers and the points over the Clippers. Sell the house, sell the boat, sell your children. Send grandma away and take the money. Put everything you've got on this 5-star selection. It's the Lakers over the Clippers. And we've also got a fantastic 5-star parlay as well. Call us now, 888-555-7777. It's Frank Smith, a.k.a. The Hammer, from LasVegasGambling.com. Do it now.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store, and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, hey, what can I do to give you a hand? And he said, well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place. So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you on a Monday afternoon. Brett Martell's with us, another Martell Monday. Brett's been with the Associated Press for about 25 years. How you doing, Brett?
I'm good, Corey. How are you?
Doing well, man. A little warm out there, 80 degrees, 70% humidity, feels like mid-80s. It's March, for crying out loud. We've got like summer weather. Speaking of heating up, the Saints reportedly agree to terms with former Raider quarterback Derek Carr. He tweeted, who dat? 31 years old. The deal's a 4-year, $150 million deal, reportedly. $100 million guaranteed, Brett, including $60 million signing bonus. Is Carr the answer at quarterback for the Saints?
Yeah, I don't think that's a slam dunk, but he could be. See, he's and yeah, I've spoken. The Saints did officially announce the signing late this afternoon, and then, of course, I've spoken to sources who confirm the dollar figures that you said, which are basically right. So he's one of the most productive passers in the NFL since he came into the league in 2014. But the knock on him is that he hasn't won, and it's a little difficult to tell with a quarterback how much of it is because of the quarterback and how much of it is because of the organization. The Raiders have been dysfunctional at times, but yeah, he's led them to the playoffs just twice in 9 years, and they've never won a playoff game with him as the QB. But he has had a lot of yards and 4 Pro Bowls. So you put a good Saints defense on the other side of the ball. He doesn't maybe need to be as prolific as he had to try to be with the Raiders, and he could see a little more winning.
I saw some Andy Dalton, Jameis Winston stats for their career. Not a whole lot different than Derek Carr's stats.
Yeah, not tremendously different, and a lot of times, you're throwing a lot because your team is behind. And so sometimes your overall passing accumulation is a result of that. Stats can be misleading. And obviously, Dennis Allen was the head coach at Oakland when they drafted him out of Fresno State. They liked him then. And it seems like Allen felt very, very comfortable, maybe more comfortable with him than any other option available. But sometimes going with what's familiar can come back to bite you. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, I think Andy Dalton, you know exactly what you got or have. He was top 10 in the league last year in quarterback rating with 3 offensive linemen out for most of the year. Jameis Winston, I still think in the right place, has an upside. I don't know how much upside Derek Carr has, but there has to be an upside or this is going to be a failure, right?
Right. If there's no upside, then they fail. Most likely.
Now, definitely, I think the organization's fired up. I think fans are fired up. One part of me is like, okay, this is an upgraded quarterback. The other side of me is it sells season tickets. It keeps that people hungry to go to games.
Well, what it does ideally is it gives you an accomplished veteran and stability at a position where there was a lot of uncertainty coming out of last season because Dalton wasn't really signed as a starter, but became the starter because Winston got hurt and underperformed. And so, now you feel like Winston's disillusioned, and can you really make it work with him? And is Dalton the answer? So they go with a younger guy who would appear to have more upside, and we'll just have to see.
Hey, Brett, rumors are flying, and I don't know what, they're rumors. Tulane to the Big 12?
Well, yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, I'm sure that Tulane would love that, and the Big 12 would like the New Orleans market, and the Big 12 is going to be strong. I mean, look, if Oklahoma and Texas are leaving for the SEC, the Big 12 needs some teams. So this may be the chance, for Tulane after winning the Cotton Bowl and proving that it can, with the right kind of organization and funding, that it can really compete with major teams.
Yep.
Why not? Why not put them in there with Baylor and Texas Tech and it would be exciting. I think they would, they would have a good schedule and and hopefully they could compete there.
New Orleans and Louisiana, the Big 12 would get, SEC territory too.
Right.
Lots of great athletes, lots of great players. Hey, the Pels, they're the 9th seed right now, Brett, hanging on. They'd be in that play-in game, not officially in the playoffs. They're at Sacramento, a 3 seed. Look, I'm not a gambler, but Sacramento's only favored by 5 points. I think that's sort of a sucker bet. The Vegas boys might be on to something, but and by the way, the Pels are 2.5 out of the 5th seed. It's such a crazy West. What are there, 18 games left?
Yeah, I mean it's getting down to the end here. So yeah, they need to start winning soon. I think a lot of it. I think if Zion is able to come back within the next 2 weeks, they could probably jump up into one of those top 6 spots. Is what they really want. But without him, they're just a little inconsistent right now. But if Valanciunas is able to play and plays well, and Ingram rounds into more consistent form, and McCollum gets his shot back. That should be enough to really win enough games to at least finish in the top, I would say, 8 teams. And then if you get Zion back for maybe the last 10 games, you could jump up into top, 6 or 5. And that's what they really need.
Has Zion been practicing yet with the team or still nursing the hand?
Well, they've been on – no, he wasn't when they played one home game since the All-Star break. And he wasn't then, but, they haven't been back home since then. So I would imagine we'll find out this week if he's – ready to start doing some work.
Yep. Hey, Brett, where can we check your stuff out via the AP?
Yeah, apnews.com on a computer or the AP News app on a smartphone. It's free and gives you news from all over the world.
Brett, always a pleasure, man. Thanks again. See you next week.
Great talking to you, Corey. Talk to you later.
That's Brett Martell, another Martell Monday on the program. There's Blue Boy a-barking. What's up, buddy? You hungry? Want to go for a walk? You don't want that dry kibble garbage. You want some human food. I hear you, Blue Boy. I think you're going to get your wish tonight. Hey, New Orleans, Gulf South, thanks for checking us out. Mañana, 4 p.m.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson. On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. On radio
Easy,
at NOLA Talk,
Blue Boy,
93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 6 p.m.